So the art project that we'll be working on today is the acrylic paint kit. So in your kit you will find paintbrushes, a little box of acrylic paints, a couple canvas paint boards, and some paper for painting on. A little bit about acrylic paints. They are water-based, which means that you can easily clean up your paint projects with soap and water, which makes this a great paint for children. If you do want other colors, if you enjoy working with the acrylic, these are the type of paints that you find at the dollar store. So all kinds of colors, not expensive, and again, great for use with children. Today, I'm going to use the acrylic paints to create some mandalas. So the first thing that you want to do with this project is you want to draw a circle on your canvas board. Now, I use a cup and I just trace around my cup, and that gives me a really nice circle. And step number one is to paint in your background color. I think for the mandalas, it's preferable that the background color be a little bit on the darker spectrum. So, you know, some dark greens or reds or blues, black even, gray, those all work nicely. And you will see why when we start putting the dots and pattern on in lighter colors. It will really pop off the dark. So step number one, paint your circle in with your base color. Okay, so I picked a nice medium dark blue, and you have to get a nice coat on. If your first coat gets a little thin and you can still see the white board through it, just wait for it to dry a bit and put a second coat on. And so really our next step is wait for it to dry. So you're going to have to put that down somewhere safe. In the meantime, if you want to play with your colors and paint yourself a picture on your paper, you can do that, or go have a snack, and I'll see you back here when your paint is dry. Okay, so when your circle is dry enough to draw on, you're going to take your pencil, and we want to divide our circle up like a pizza. So I'm going to guess at half. You can use something straight too. I'm just using this popsicle stick, but you could use a ruler, but just to help you get your line straight. So you're going to do that. And then again, I guess your sides, and another line across there. And then again like that, and again like that. You can just eye it up. You don't have to measure everything. It doesn't have to be exact. Close as you can get though. Going through the middle. And then the last one there and there. Going through the middle. Like so. There. So now you have this nicely divided off into your sections. It's really important to do this because as you start laying down your dots in the design, you're going to want to keep them spaced appropriately so that the design works out. Without the lines, that's really hard to do. It may start off nicely, but as you move outwards, I promise you everything will go crooked. So definitely take the time to put your guidelines in. Next step is to pick the colors that you want to use. So the colors I've chosen to use today is white, which is normally a staple in doing your mandala design. Always kind of keep a little bit of white and black on hand. You find you will use those. And then my three main other colors is this lovely soft yellow, a nice aqua, and a beautiful orange. I don't know what colors you will end up with in your kit, but there will be a selection. And like I said, you could also go to the dollar store and pick out some colors there that you really love. So when you start your painting, some other things you're going to want to have on hand is some paper towel and a little jug of water for washing your brush off, and keep those off to the side of your workspace. You will need those. Now, you're going to get your canvas in front of you. Your guidelines are set. I'm going to turn the camera like this so that you can get an aerial picture of how this works, because it is a lot easier to learn from that angle. So the next step is choosing your brush. So the fun thing about painting mandalas is you can use a paintbrush in which has a nice fine point, kind of like a liner brush. But you can also make mandalas by using the ends of your paintbrushes, and different sizes of brushes will give you different sizes of circles. So I would suggest trying it either way and see which way works best for you. I'm going to use this liner brush, and I'm going to start by putting a circle in the very middle of my design. So you're always going to work from the middle and then radiate out. I'm going to start off with white in the middle. So I actually do use the tip of the paintbrush, not the end. And you want to get a fairly nice glob of paint on the end, because it's that sort of pressing down on that ball of paint that's on the end that helps you to lay your circle in nicely. So you can make it, not too big, but that's our starting off point. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It just has to be from you. So you just give it your best and make your dots whatever shape they kind of turn out, right? Okay, so after you get your middle one in, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some really small little ones all the way around. So the first thing I'm going to do is you just have to drop the brush down. If you've got a ball of paint on the end there, it's just going to lay down as a dot, and you don't really need to do much more than that. And I'm going to put one on every line. You always have to make sure you've got a nice fresh ball of paint on the end of that brush, and I'm going to put one on every line all the way around the design. And then I'm going to put one in between each of those as well. Just like that. Now if there's some that look a little sort of not even with the others, you can go back in and kind of just play with them a little bit, just to make everything a little bit unified. There. Now I'm going to wash my brush out, dry it off on my paper towel, and I'm going to pick my next color. So my next color that I'm going to pick is that beautiful rich orange that I had. So again, I'm going to get a nice ball of paint on the end of that paintbrush, and this time I'm going to lay a nice little orange dot. Ooh, too much paint. You don't want it to drip, that's for sure. You want to control it. And I'm going to put an orange dot where this goes now. I'm going to put one about that size, I think. And I'm going to put one on every line. Like so. Trying to keep them all relatively the same same size. There you go. So you just keep going around till you get every single one of them done. And then after you get all those ones around, we're going to go even further out. We're going to pick our next color. I'm going to go with that nice turquoise aqua color that I had. And this time I'm going to lay a fairly large dot in between the oranges, which is in between the guidelines. So just like that. I'm happy with that size. Well, sometimes it's hard to get them all exactly the same size, but you know what? Close enough, right? Just do your best. It's not meant to be perfect. In the end, the little differences won't even show. So again, you go all the way around. Okay, so once you have those ones all the way around, we're going to work with the next step out to the edge, and I'm going to put in some really big yellow ones. So these ones, I want them fairly big, so I want them to kind of come right to the edge, maybe just a little bit over the edge of the blue, just because they are the finishing ones of the design. Just like that. Okay. Load up that brush, because these are big ones. In between the greens, a little bit over the edge of the blue. And that's about the right size. You can play with it. Right, you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, now once you have your base dots down on your design, it's starting to start building up and doing some more intricate detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go back to my white, and I'm going to add one white dot about that size in between each of my aqua colored ones. Sometimes if you get the right ball, you just have to place it like that and you got your perfect dot. There we go. And I'm also going to do the same thing with white, no, not with white, sorry, with orange. And it's going to go, I'm going to go around each of these yellow circles. So to get it even, put one there, one there, and then start with the sides. One there, one there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, between each one. There. And you're going to do that to all of those yellow circles all the way around. Okay, once you have all your little orange dots all the way around, we've washed our brush out, and we're going to go back to our yellow color. Make sure you dry that brush off good. We don't want the water getting in your paint and making it runny and spread out too much. So load up your brush with some yellow. Nice little bit of yellow on there. And now we are going to place a little yellow dot right under the white one, between the white and the orange, just like that. And it's just a little wee one, just a little one. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, once you've got that done, it's time to let it dry. The next step it requires adding color on top of colors that are already here, making circles within the circles. So you're going to have to let this dry. My suggestion would be to take a breather, clean up your supplies, or you can get your hair dryer out and give that a quick blow dry, and that will dry up a lot faster. Okay, now that all your primary circles are dry, we can start layering on top of those circles. At this time, I'm going to bring back that blue base color that we had, and I'm going to add a dot of that in the middle of each of the orange squares. I'm going to do that all the way around. Once you have all those dots placed, we're going to go back to our white, and we are going to add fair size white circle to the middle of all the yellow ones. So not too big, but I'm going to leave a nice amount of yellow still showing. Probably like that. And you can do that all the way around. Okay, once you have your white all the way around, we're going to add a color to the middle of the aqua ones. And I mean, again, it can be anything you want. I'm going to go with the yellow that we put on the outer circles. I'm going to use that again. And we're just going to lay a little, not a big one, just about that size right there. There we go. It's about right. All right, you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, once you have that yellow dot in there, I am going to go back to the aqua color. And I'm going to start by adding a little dot of aqua to the middle here. And then what I want to do is do two small ones like that. I want to start to try to fill in the space and kind of layer up the design. So you're going to do two aquas all the way around. Okay, once you have those in, we're also going to add a very small dab of aqua in the middle of each of these orange ones all the way around. Just a teeny tiny dot. All right, and at this point we're almost done. We do need to go through one more drying time so I can do a third layer on some of this, and then we will be done. So let it dry, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, once everything's dry, last color I'm going to use is I'm going to go back to the dark blue that is in our background, and we're going to lay nice dark blue dot in the middle of all your whites all the way around. And there you have it. Once you've finished those blue, that's it. You have a very simple mandala design. Have fun with it. Change up the colors. If you want to go online and Google mandalas, you will get a lot of different design ideas. And the more colors that you add to your paint collection, the more diverse you can make these designs. Have fun.